some call it a religion, while others see it as a movement. A lot of people see it as entertainment, where you have the glitz, glam, and razzmatazz. But we call it a way of life. Welcome to the maiden edition of SportsConvos, where we talk about everything sport and anything sport. Let me call this out. We are not pros. We're just crazy fans about sport. So don't expect the best out of this, but you get what I mean. But yeah, my name is Yemi Orimolade, and welcome. In days to come, the 22nd edition of what has been called the greatest spectacle of sporting world, the World Cup happens, and it takes place in Qatar, right? And there will be a lot of things on the table. Which team will be, the champions? Who will be the, discovery of the tournament and all that? Okay, let's don't get into that shenanigans now. But I have two of fans in the building here who would be talking more about it, right? So I have Femi and Kufre, Shego and Kufre. Let's just know more of you, Shego, and then move on to Kufre.
My name is Shego Andiloju, video producer and a poetry farmer. Football enthusiast.
And a football enthusiast, okay.
My name is Kufre Imozakwan, a.k.a. Reggie. I'm a sound engineer. I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm a Real Madrid fan.
Yeah, very interesting how one person is an Arsenal and a Madrid fan at the same time. But that's fine. That's okay. That's fine. So let's just deep dive into this, right? We have 32 teams, 64 matches. There'll be 4 weeks, of football splendor happening in Qatar. Yes, we've heard about the restrictions about this, and yeah, let's leave that for another day, right? But what is important for me here, and just from a fan standpoint, which team would we be looking out come December 18 as the converted title owners of this World Cup? So, Shego, let's get from you.
For me, it would be good to see an African team go all the way this time. We've had, in the past 2 World Cups, it seemed like 2 Africans tried to push it. Ghana did it, quarterfinals, Senegal did the same thing. So we'd like to see them again this year, push that far to the final. Then, hopefully, to be sentimental as a Messi fan, I'd like to see Messi carry the cup.
Yeah, so it's very confusing when you say you look at African team and at the same time you want, Messi. But that's fine. That's fine. No, I get you. That's okay. That's fine. Kufre, let's hear from you.
I'm not trying to make this a Ronaldo Messi thing, but I would like to see Ronaldo win the World Cup. Ideally, I think the finals would have either Brazil or Argentina. So one of them would carry the cup. That's my own opinion.
Okay, so it's Brazil-Argentina finals that you look out for, but on the line there you say like a Ronaldo kind of thing.
No,
right?
It's not Brazil and Argentina final. One of them will make the finals, or both.
Well, both of them will make the final. That's interesting. So we are back to the Messi and we are back to the Ronaldo. Does it have to do with age, or does it have to do that potentially this will be their last, World Cup that they would feature in?
No, for me, we've seen Messi for so long. He's done almost everything in football. He has always tried to win. He has always been denied the national team honors. But the last Copa America, we saw his teammates come together, pushed him that far to win the Copa America.
No, the teammate pushed him that far.
I have an agenda.
Or the team, went all out for him. You understand?
The team went all out for him to ensure he won Copa America. So that's something missing. I think they want to do the same for the World Cup, because it's the final World Cup, obviously. If you come back from that one, it will be a miracle.
Yeah, but Roger Miller did it at 42, right? So, it's a possibility. It's a possibility. But Kufre, what's your take?
I feel like, what Shegun said, it is like their last World Cup. In Ronaldo's interview with Piers, he said he would like to retire after winning the World Cup, if he wins the World Cup. So obviously he's already thinking about this is his last chance. I think every football fan feels like this is the last chance for them to actually win the World Cup. So yeah, it's more about their age and how much time they have left in football.
Yeah, so I hear Shegun say an African final. right?
I don't mind seeing an African team in the final.
You know, he doesn't mind seeing an African team. I think Samuel Eto'o said, you know, he predicted Cameroon, Morocco, right? We look forward to that. Like, yeah, and you know, Kufre saying one either or
South American team.
You know, South American team. But in real terms, let's even put it on the table here. What is the African challenge? When you look at the 5 teams coming out of Africa, which of those teams, I know that I've heard from Shegun talk about, you know, Ghana there, you know, probably you talked about Senegal as well. But let's look at the 5 teams coming out of Africa. Which of the team possesses the greatest threat to every other country, you know, at the World Cup or potentially that may get into the finals? In 2002, Senegal did that, got to the quarterfinals. In 2010 in South Africa, Ghana did that. So which of these 5 teams do we have, you know, currently in this edition that you think would, you know, go all the way?
I would say initially I said Senegal. I still think Senegal will go the farthest. But now that they're going to be without Sadio Mane, I feel like the chances of that happening may have reduced. But I still think they have out of the other African teams, they have the best quality, like in terms of individuals in their squad. So I think they will still go further. I don't see the other teams going past the group stage, to be honest.
So Senegal for you is that team, and
yes,
because of the quality, the depth of their squad, you feel again individual talent, not team effort. You feel with what they have got that character to get or go all the way, potentially even playing at the finals. Shego.
Yeah, man, I'm looking at Ghana.
Like Ghana?
I'm looking at Ghana, yeah. They have the Naki brothers, they have Nketiah in the squad.
Just one of the Nakis, actually.
Give them a good chance in terms of goal scoring, they would deliver. And they have Partey as well. And Partey has had a good season so far with Arsenal. So I believe for the African team, I'm looking at Ghana. So
from an African challenge perspective, Ghana brings it home. And is it connected because Ghana beat Nigeria? So, and you know, when you see Ghana play, you just said, "Oh, this could have been Nigeria." No. Okay. And I think we've talked about, you know, potential teams, but just like I would always say, in this whole thing, nobody talked about the English national team. Right? So is it that they do not stand a chance, or they don't pose that challenge of, you know, becoming world champions come December 18? Your perspective?
I don't think they are I think we can call them favorites with the kind of squad that they have, alongside Brazil and Argentina, but I just don't see England winning it. I don't think they have that extra push, that extra thing that would, you know, take them all the way. They have a decent squad. They have some exciting young players, you know, Saka, Mount, and the likes Foden. But I don't think it will be enough to go all the way. I just feel like the other teams, Brazil, Argentina, would have the edge over them.
So for you, they are always favorites. Like they always bring it.
A strong squad.
It's coming home. It's always there, but it never comes. And that is your perspective,
yeah.
Kufre. Shego, England.
The English national team is always confusing to me. On paper, they will have the good players in all areas, best right backs, best left backs, playing very well for their clubs. Attackers are there. When they come as a team, to the national team, they're always just confused. You think they deliver in a particular match, they just totally fail. You now be wondering, okay, what's wrong with these guys? So there's always confusing with the English. So don't look at them for when it comes to national team games, the Euro Cup.
Don't expect much from them.
They will always have, on paper, they will have the best players, but then when they now start playing, you begin to wonder, okay, where is this guy's head? What are they thinking of? Why are they not connecting? We've seen the likes of when they had Lampard, had Gerrard.
Schools.
You now be wondering that what's wrong with these guys? Why they not?
I think that has to do with the Premier League complex. Everybody watches. That's like the most popular league. So they assume the players that play there are the best.
Yeah, I think they always
But
panic. They always panic during the. They always panic.
I don't think.
So what I hear is when the big occasion arises, most often than not they chicken out, right?
No, most recently, the Euro Cup, we got to the final, and we all expected them to beat Italy.
No, I didn't expect that. So
okay.
Yeah.
Based on the kind of players they had in the squad.
Yeah.
You know, had Harry Kane, Saka.
It looked like they had a
beat Italy,
chance.
and they even scored first. And from nowhere, Italy. So they now started defending when they meant to just maintain the game, attack. Because you had the quality. And Italy came back. Equalized, went to penalty. The penalty was woeful. Their penalty was woeful.
Okay, so that's about the English national team. Now, we had spoken about your favorites. You have heard about your favorites. We talked about the African Challenge. Likewise, we spotlighted on the English national team because why? Because week in, week out, we watch the EPL, and the players in their national team are household names. Like everybody knows every person that plays in that national team, right? The English national team. So, in terms of outliers, teams that will be there for the surprise package. Now, you have talked about your favorites. Now, which teams are going to be the surprise package at the World Cup?
Yeah, I'm looking at a team like maybe Poland.
Oh,
they have their group stage matches are not that tough, and I feel they have a very good striker. If he gets the supplies, he will deliver.
So it's a one-man team. I said like it's a one-man team. So like Lewandowski, yes, because they have very.
Okay, it's a known name. I believe they have very good players around him.
Yeah, for Poland to qualify and Nigeria doesn't qualify, like something in there, right?
So, I mean, if he gets half chances in the box, he would. And that's football. Score goals, win the game. So if he's getting after and scoring the goals.
Kind of disagree with that.
Croatia did the same thing.
Yeah.
We didn't see it happening.
Yeah, I was saying I disagree with what Shegun said.
It's not debate, it's just sharing your mind.
Yeah, I know. I'm just sharing my mind.
Yeah.
Lewandowski hasn't really been that prolific for Poland.
The team with regards to, who is that surprise team for you?
I think that gets to that. I was going to say Serbia or Denmark for me. I feel like one of those two would be real dark horses, just like Croatia in 2018. So
for you, it's Serbia or Denmark. And I think for me, when I look at, that surprise team, when I, watch the unveiling of, by Diego Alonso, the coach of the Uruguayan team, something there just, I just looked at the squad of that team.
I think they've done that. We saw it happen already. So I don't think they will do it again.
Yes, so way back.
Yeah, 2010.
Yeah, so that's.
I think they've done their own bit already for being a surprise team.
So let's hold that there and let's move into more of individual guys in terms of the highest goal scorer or which individual player that will come out as the competition's best player. Which guys are you thinking of right now? Kufre.
Well, I think
highest goal scorer and best
goalkeeper.
Player.
Best,
whatever. Yeah.
Okay, highest goal scorer. I'm not really sure, but I feel maybe Neymar is on penalties for Brazil, so definitely he has a higher chance of being the highest goal scorer. Young player of the competition, I think, will be Saka. I know this is not Arsenal bias. Yes. I think goalkeeper of the competition would probably be Ochoa, Mexican keeper again. Player of the tournament, depending on who wins, either Messi or Neymar. Assuming that either Brazil or Argentina wins. That's my own prediction.
Shags.
For top goal scorer, I would still go to Lewandowski because he's playing Saudi Arabia. I see him scoring 6 goals in the stage.
Okay, right. Okay.
I see him scoring 6 goals, and that's what.
No, it's the Lewandowski connection, aligned because he plays for Barca. Just check.
No.
Okay, just
he plays Saudi Arabia.
Just check.
He scored 4 goals in that game.
Okay, good.
Most likely, he scored 4 goals in that game. He might get his goals in the group stage.
I mean, Messi is also playing Saudi Arabia.
Messi will not score 4 goals in the game now. Never will score 4 goals in the game.
Messi could create 4 goals.
But will not score 4 goals in the game.
For one player.
Now, it is not a player that's pushed for goal that much. He just
That's true.
share it now.
Distribute.
Distribute. So
That's true.
So that's for striker. What about, what player? Because you also know that most often than not, the guy who becomes like the best player out of the World Cup eventually becomes the world best for some reason. So who do you think that person will be?
Over the years, I started following the World Cup for Brazil. We've seen Romario come win the World Cup. We've seen Ronaldo come win the World Cup. Ronaldinho came, won the World Cup. Neymar is missing that. And this is, he was meant to do it
2014.
2014. He got injured. I think this time, if we want to do it again this time, he needs to do it for the Brazilian record.
So for you, Neymar.
He has to be the standout player.
Right.
He should be the standout player.
Standout player. So two more from you, Shegu. Young player and goalkeeper. What
goalkeeper? The Spanish keeper. We were surprised they dropped the gear for
Unai Simon. Unai Simon.
So I believe he won't prove himself.
I think that's the wrong move.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Drop the gear for him. So I think he would want to prove himself.
And young player? Pedri. So interestingly, nobody has said anything about the Spanish national team. Now, is it because no? Nobody said anything in terms of not even giving them a chance. Are we saying that the squad that Luis Enrique put together, it will be a flash in the pan, or it's just like they're just going there for the jamboree? Just quick thoughts from you guys.
I personally have an agenda against him. I believe that he's so biased when it comes to selecting the Spanish squad. I'm angry with some of the selections he made, the people that he left out. De Gea is obviously the best keeper out of all of them, and I'm not a Man U fan. I feel like him leaving out striker Gerard Moreno, who is a better finisher than the others he carried, is a big red flag. But seeing as he carried a lot of spark, exciting young players that have that spark, I think they will go far, but they don't have enough to be a challenging side.
So they have the squad. What I hear you say is they have the squad. Character and depth is lacking.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's all about the Spanish team. They go with their whole that the same ginger that Pep Guardiola comes with, like Arteta
that
comes
ginger
with.
Hasn't been there recently for the national side.
Right. So that's for you for the Spanish side.
So for the Spanish side, they will play exciting football. They will knock around. They will do all of that. But then, what's lacking this year is they don't have such players in terms of attack. When they won the World Cup, then they had the Luis Garcia up front. That
David Villa
have chance. David Villa. They had David Villa. Have chance he will score. They had the Sane, Marco Senna in the midfield, strong.
Fernando Torres.
They are playing with Busquets now. He had his time when he played with Xavi and Iniesta, but this time he's been struggling for the past 2 years, and he's the one that is going to be playing the midfield for them. I just don't see them having that edge. They don't have a Fernando Torres up front.
You don't have a top man.
I don't think.
You have Morata.
You have Morata. So those are guys that are below average in terms of their performance.
You need to create 10 chances.
And that will deliver. They will do all those. They would the likes of Lorente,
Nico Gavi.
They will do all of that, but they might not just be finishing the ball. You have Morata up front. You have Torres up front. I don't think they would.
I think me personally, I'm just excited to see Williams, Inaki's younger brother. He's playing for Spain. I hope he gets some minutes, but I think he's a real threat going forward for any team he plays in. So I'm excited to see him. But like he said, they don't have that clinical finisher in front. So I don't know if they'll be getting as much goals.
So these are the views of Segun Kufre, at this point in time. And just like we said, we are not the pros, we are just fans, right? So I'll be super excited to get comments from you watching us at this point in time, and just share your thoughts. The World Cup will be around for the next 4 or 5 weeks, and it will be good to hear from you. What team will you be rooting for now that the Super Eagles is not part of it? Who will be that star player that you're looking out for that will be the golden boy of this, this competition? And of course, the goalkeeper, and of course, the young guy who would be doing stuff during the World Cup. So it's your own, choice time to even, give us feedback and say, hey, these are who you are rooting for at this point in time. So I've always learned, and that's coming back to you, is I've always learned that the World Cup is who eventually wins the World Cup is driven by they are exciting going forward, but the core is the defense line. The defense of your squad has to be strong. And taking from all that you've said, right? Argentina has an aging defense line. Brazil has an aging defense line. I might be wrong, but just putting that into perspective, what comes to mind for me in 2006 when the Italian won the World Cup, they had the best set pairings in the defense line with Cannavaro and all. And when they were going forward, Italy was always known to be that team that was strong defensively. But that World Cup, they had Luca Toni, who came, at the age of over 20, became the highest goal scorer in Serie A. You understand? He came and he was, that guy who always knocked in the goal. We had the old man, Pirlo there. We also had Alexandro Del Piero in that same squad. And that formidable team, gave Italians the World Cup that year. Now, with what I've said, which team, is most that will be strong, from defensive going forward? Yeah.
I think Netherlands, with the way they are set up with three at the back, with Van Dijk and De Ligt and their wing backs, I think defensively, that's the best team. And, I also think they will go for, their form coming into the World Cup with the Nations League was really, really good. Almost as good as Argentina. So defensively, I think they're the best in the competition.
On paper, and looking at France, defense line, they have Koundé, they have Saliba. Saliba has had a fantastic season. For the first time, Arsenal is competing for the league with someone like that at the back.
No, it's not a national conversation.
Based on his performance, he has done so well. He has made Arsenal look so comfortable at the back. And we didn't even see it coming. We just saw this guy Saliba, and he has done so well.
Arsenal fans saw it coming.
Someone like Koundé as well for Arsenal, for France. I think, and they also have good holding midfielders. So I believe for defense line, in terms of age, I think France will do good defensively. We expect England to also do good defensively, but then it's England.
So when you say it's England, is it that they just lose it at some point in time?
Yeah, I think they panic.
I think they're just not as good as we think they are.
No, so what happens if come December 18th, that English national team becomes the world champion?
It would be a surprise.
It would be good for them.
It would be a surprise.
Good for the nation.
And they can finally, stop with it coming home because it has finally come home. But it will still be a surprise. Nobody's expecting England to win.
Their fans expect them to win.
Every fan expects their own country to win.
Okay, so I think that would be a good one. Come December 18, England wins the World Cup. How would you feel about that? Just trying to hear that from our audiences here. So I hear you. Netherlands, France
for defense.
Defensive. They look.
I don't know about that France. Pogba and Kante not being in the World Cup is going to expose a lot of things, but my boy Chouameni and Camavinga, I think they will be able to step up. I just don't know if it will be the same.
About Camavinga, I don't know. When they won the Champions League with Real Madrid, for every game that they were losing, the boy comes in 5 minutes, he changes the game. As in, you just come and give you those 5 touches. You just make the game for Madrid very effective, and they get the goal. So that guy, and he's very quiet. It's just
he breaks the pattern.
They don't need to have a Kante in this way. They don't need to have a Pogba. Pogba will only draw them back. Pogba's only playing football for so long.
Pogba is different in the France national team.
But they have a Chouameni, they have a Camavinga. I think they are good with those guys. They are very effective young boys that play good football.
South Korea, you've been sung. right? I'm just checking. Yeah, South Korea. In the scheme of things, do they have a chance?
Chance at what?
Chance of getting past the group stages.
Okay, yeah. They do have a chance of getting past the group stage. I mean, to be surprising.
He started, Bayern Madrid is looking at him. I think he's the one. He's the sole carrier of that Korean team.
Yeah.
I'm still going to come to Japan as well. But let's also get your views in terms of
in the past couple of World Cups. I don't think the Asian teams have not really stepped up to the plate.
Yeah.
But in Korea, Japan in 2002, South Korea got to the semi-final.
Yes.
So irrespective of saying, hey, no team, at least right now, they have a better rating than African teams because they've gotten a team that got to the semi-finals, right?
That's the past. I don't think South Korea has a better chance than Senegal or Morocco.
Right.
Japan would go further than South Korea. Definitely. Their team is more balanced. It's more. They have better players. South Korea, however, I don't know. Heung-min Son hasn't been the same this season as he was last season. With the injury and his form. But he's still Heung-min Son. You cannot underestimate him. But he hasn't been what he was. So it's surprising that I'm hearing offers from Madrid and Bayern. But that's football, really. Once a player has established a particular form over a particular number of seasons, you just believe that he has that thing, whether or not he's performing or playing. So I think that's why they are going after him.
So it's still Sport Convo, talking about anything that has to do with sports. It's all about the fans talking about, giving their perspective about it. We've not talked about the Middle East team, or what we call the Arabian team. I know, because I hear some. I think it was Shogun that talked about Saudi Arabia, Lewandowski 6 goals. We have Iran, we have Qatar, we have Saudi Arabia. In those 3 teams, who do you give a chance?
None of them.
I don't know. Home advantage might help Qatar.
So we are saying the team from the Middle East will be the weeping boys. So you are rest assured about your 3 points when you play them. Is that what I hear you say?
For their group stages. Qatar in Ecuador. I don't see Qatar winning that game. Saudi Arabia in Poland's group. I think Mexico is in that group as well. Saudi Arabia. I don't see.
And Iran, you have the US, you have England, you have Iran.
Wales
as well.
So I don't see none of the Middle East team even getting a point.
No. I mean, against Wales, Iran could muster something up. You have Saudi Arabia against Wales in their team. Mexico. It could slip up. Anything could happen in football. I know they will obviously. I mean, Saudi Arabia might get the least points out of all the other Middle East teams. But I mean, they could shock some people.
They could shock people that day. Now let's go. This to the. Do I call it North America? Canada is making an appearance, right? And the Canadian team is more like a United Nations team because people from different descendants from different places are part of that team. I even think in their squad they have like 2 or 3 Nigerians in that squad.
I saw a stat the other day.
Yeah, so
137 people that were born in a different country than the country that they're representing are playing at the World Cup.
Wow.
137.
137
players playing for other
countries than their country of birth. Interesting, and I think maybe Canada would like 500% of that. So before we go, yes, you had mentioned individual players. You had mentioned teams that you look forward, towards the final come December 18, and potentially who would lift the title come that day. But if I should ask you guys, which team would you be rooting for? Putting into consideration, if Nigeria was there, everybody would root for Nigeria. But no thanks to what happened when it happened. But as the World Cup starts, that one team you'll be rooting for, what would be that team?
I would go. I already said it. I would root for Argentina, but then I would vote any African country.
The African challenge.
Anyone.
Would work
when
for
African
you.
country meets Argentina in the final, I would decide who I will go for there.
So what I hear you say is Argentina and the 5 African countries.
I don't mind.
Okay, Kufri.
Portugal, because of Ronaldo. But if they don't go for, my second choice will be Brazil.
Brazil. So for you, Kufri, it is either Portugal or Brazil. That's the Portuguese connection. I think Portugal colonized Brazil.
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you like slave trade like this, but it's all good. And I think for me, I have always shared this view in the last week. And I think in 2006, I think I was just still new in my place of work, and I said Italy will win that World Cup. I got a lot of hit, bash, bows, bad. I said Italy that, but at the end of the day, Italy came out tops and they won that World Cup.
Thanks.
As I sign off this on this our first edition, for me, that team that you should look out for would be Uruguay. I don't know where this is coming from, but I'll be rooting for Uruguay during the World Cup, the 22nd edition. So that's my own, and again, that is my choice. And the viewers, the viewers can talk about which team that we're rooting for. But I have just said my own. So thank you, gentlemen, for showing up. At this first edition, we'll be hoping to call you more for other conversations in the weeks, days ahead.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed on the African team, or fingers crossed on
as things begins to unfold at the World Cup.
When
the reality sets in.
Yeah, so as things begin to unfold on the World Cup, we'll gather again to have this conversation and say, you said this, you didn't say this, I said this.
This was happening.
And this is what is happening exactly. So guys, thanks for coming. We look forward to the more of you here and having more conversations around what's happening around the sporting world. And to our viewers, thank you for watching, and we'll come back to you in a bit. Bye for now.